We need publicly owned government-run grocery stores. We're all talking about how food inflation is killing us. And we know that people all along the supply chain are taking a cut. I know people who work in consumer packaged goods, and they're telling me that they can't make a sandwich that they then sell at a store because the cost of mayo and eggs has skyrocketed. Because their suppliers are now taking a bigger cut, and they have been since COVID, saying inflation and this and that, and now supply chain issues and tariffs, when their costs aren't actually going up. So the producers are taking a bigger cut. The suppliers are taking a bigger cut. The people who are then producing the actual packaged good is then taking a bigger cut. And then the people who run the stores are also taking a bigger cut. And every single person is passing that cost down to the end consumer, which is why we are all experiencing food cost inflation well above what the actual cost of inflation is. Because under crisis capitalism, the system in which we have been living for the last 30, 40 years, it only makes sense to try to make money during a crisis. Think about that old Churchill quote, never let a good crisis go to waste. That's not just a political statement, that is an economic idea, more of a business idea. But if we had a state-run grocery store, we could deal with some of this. It wouldn't have to be widespread. They wouldn't need to be massive stores. They could be fairly small storefronts. Hell, they could just sell a bag of goods, a literal basket of goods. Some bread, some cheese, some eggs, some milk, all of the staples, no-name brands, straight from Canadian suppliers, and sold just above at cost. Basically enough to keep the organization functioning and running with a tiny little profit, specifically going towards growing it and expanding it to different communities across Canada. Start it in food deserts, in places where people are in need, and then roll that out across the country. And you don't need to sell every product. They don't need to have Dunkaroos. They don't need to have pop. They need fundamental goods that we all need to survive. Basic cereals, basic oatmeal, stuff like that. Rice, other grains, maybe a little bit of meat, and it can be cheap cuts of meat too. This isn't going to be the store that everybody does all of their shopping at, but it can be a place where Canadians can get groceries at affordable prices, the basic goods that they need to survive. And then if you want something else on top of that, the grocery stores will have it. Because fundamentally, I don't see how any politician has any ideas on how to lower grocery food more affordable for Canadians without a system like this. I just don't understand how else it could be done. Because market incentives aren't working. Subsidies are not working. Because somewhere along the line, someone is taking a cut, somebody's making a profit. Just like with housing. Until the profit is gone, there is going to be issues. Because the whole point of capital is to make more capital. It's to juice as much money out of whatever market that you are. So maybe, just maybe, we need to fundamentally rethink how we structure some of the things in our society.